Hey everyone, I hope you're well. I was lucky enough to receive my Steam Deck a couple of weeks ago now, so I thought I'd do a first impressions or initial review video. It's only really going to cover my first impressions, so I'm not going to get technical or go through anything too specific, but please do let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to cover. It's also probably not going to be any big surprise to say that I really love the Steam Deck and really feel like it's been one of the best gadget purchases I've made in a very long time. You really do feel like you've gotten a great deal in terms of bang for buck, and it's certainly been my go-to handheld. The Steam Deck is obviously a big handheld, but it does feel great in the hands and balances incredibly well. This isn't more apparent than when you need to actually touch the screen, as the moment you hold the deck one-handed, you realise just how heavy it is. But it's testament to just how ergonomic the design is that you just don't realise the weight while playing normally. Your mileage will vary in terms of how quickly you pick up SteamOS by just how familiar you are with Steam itself and how substantial your Steam library is. I've personally been a Steam user from very near the beginning, so I have a very substantial game library and thus have lots of games that are fully deck supported and fully familiar with Steam as an environment. So a lot of the SteamOS just felt second nature to me. If you're going in from scratch, I'd imagine there would be some frustration to be had, but needless to say, assuming you don't do anything that's not fully supported, everything is pretty much seamless, which is amazing. And even then, setting up emulators and the like is of course not at all native to Steam, but the third-party application EmuDeck makes it as smooth as an experience as possible. And Russ at Retro Game Corps has done a phenomenal job in covering the setup over at his channel, so I'll be sure to include a link here. All my emulation gameplay was captured from an EmuDeck post setup, so I didn't do any specific tweaks. So the fact that this level of support has come so quickly is absolutely fantastic to see. So I do find it really hard to pick many faults with the Steam Deck, but I do understand that I most likely sit straight in the target market for it and the type of user to get the most enjoyment out of it. But the ability just to play through chunks of my gaming backlog mixed in with its substantial emulation ability is just great to me. Any software frustration I've had has almost always been because I'm doing something not verified by Valve, and the ability to tinker and try and get things working when they're not technically supposed to is a plus to me, where I understand it would be a very much frustration to others. I do wish that the battery life was longer. I've averaged out at around 3 hours between charges, and the fan does get a bit too loud. But when I consider the value for money the Steam Deck brings to the table, I can look past this more than I would with other portables that cost at the very least double the deck's price. I find the controls to be up there the best I've experienced with handhelds and haven't had any frustrations with them yet. Having only one USB-C port and no kickstand does make the setup phase or doing anything in a dock-like situation slightly annoying at the moment, but ultimately the majority of the time you'll be playing the deck in your hands, so it won't be a concern. Anyway, I'll cut to some brief gameplay now and do a quick summary at the end. As mentioned, all the emulation gameplay has been captured straight from a EmuDeck setup. I've not had to do any further tweaks from the EmuDeck stock setup at all. So I'll leave you to some emulation now and summarize back up at the end.
Line the... Someone is coming. Enemy! Neutralized. Eva! Target down. You owe me one. Tower clear. See if you can find any extra firepower in there. We've got company heading to the bridge. Can you handle it? I've got them. Target's down. Area clear. I'm moving to the truck. Moving to your location. nigh. They told me toners were supposed to be peaceful.
What kind of crap are they teaching people these days?
Fight it! Get a medic! This crazy intoner's gonna kill us all!
Sure, why not? I haven't killed any medics.
We're all going to die. Keep it up.
Get out of my way, damn it.
Anger will only slow you.
So it'll come with no surprises that the Steam Deck has lived up to its hype for me. I do recommend for emulation fans to follow through Russ's excellent Emu Deck setup guide, and recommend at the very least a mouse USB-C to USB-A converter or USB-C USB hub alongside a decent micro SD card to avoid any initial setup frustrations. I planned to do a couple of follow-up videos with the Steam Deck, so if you do have any recommendations on this, please do let me know. And thank you very much for watching.